What have I just witnessed? We all love a good comeback, but there's one club that does it time and time again, and have just done a comeback that will be remembered in not just the club's history, but football history forever. Let's rewind. This game had a lot of tension building up to it. Let me set the scene. Manchester United are in turmoil, 14th in the league, worst finish in the league, and knocked out of pretty much every competition except for one. They had one last chance for glory as they lined up in the first leg of the Europa League quarter-finals against Lyon. The pressures of this round were real, and their effect wouldn't just last a couple of weeks. They could last years and potentially ruin the club forever. No pressure, right? You see, because United are mid-table right now, it's impossible for them to qualify for the Champions League. Therefore, they have no money to spend in the summer. They'll keep the same bad players, they'll do worse, and the cycle continues until the club turns into utter despair. However, if they manage to win the Europa League, and in doing so qualify for the Champions League, they will receive a necessary £90 million for the next season, which is the type of money that would either make or break the club. Now, Lyon's team weren't half bad. They had a fairly average defence, however an attack that consisted of the likes of Thiago Almada, Lacazette, and most importantly, Cherki. It was always going to be difficult to break down, however they got the better of them taking the lead, and would have kept that lead if it wasn't for a certain someone. Two mistakes from Onana let Lyon steal a draw from the first leg. United now needed to go back to England and steal a win. Going into the game, hopes weren't held high. One of their only promising players, Xerxes, suffered a hamstring injury and has been ruled out for the rest of the season, as well as missing other players like De Ligt, Diallo, Martinez and more. However, the fans still believed that it was possible. As the players walked out through the flares and the tifo, the atmosphere was ready for one of the greatest games in recent history. The game kicked off and it wasn't long until Ugarte opened the score, finally giving United fans something to cheer for and a feeling of hope. This was added even more as Dalot was to double the lead shortly before half-time, and it looked like United were cruising to the semi-finals. But that's not the end of the story. You see, Manchester United forgot one crucial thing: that they were Manchester United. So, in Manchester United fashion, they decided to completely bottle their 2-goal lead, and it was all square once again. At this point, United were in absolute shambles. Lyon were piling on the pressure. However, after going down to 10 men, United were given a glimmer of hope. A glimmer of hope, which was ruined in 14 minutes. Cherki added a goal after skipping through the United defence, and after Luke Shaw decided to crunch a Lyon player. The lead was doubled, and all of a sudden their lead turned from a 2-0 up to 2-0 down. And with just 11 minutes left on the clock, it looked completely hopeless. But then something happened. Something that would go on to completely change the game. United were awarded a penalty. Bruno Fernandes steps up and slots it in the bottom corner. The game wasn't over yet. United still had a glimmer of hope. And then, in the 120th minute, it happened. Kobbie Mainoo, the 19-year-old with the equaliser. The crowd, the Xerxes celebration, the camera shake. Absolute vintage that will be remembered for a long time to come. The referee would then blow the full-time whistle and the game would go to penalties. Right? Well, not exactly. Just couldn't make it up. In the 121st minute, Harry Maguire scores the winning goal. 3 goals in 7 minutes, marking it as one of the greatest comebacks ever seen in not just Manchester United history, but football history as a whole. So what's next? They're through to the semis against an even tougher opponent of Bilbao. Can they progress and win the lot? What do you think? Let me know down below, and while you're at it, why not check out this video right here. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya.